This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to my video discussing the new LEGO Star Wars 25th anniversary sets alongside the new sound brick piece and the new LEGO movie. So let's go into this with going in reverse order of what I just said. And starting off, there is just what I consider an awful idea of the next LEGO movie, which is supposed to be a documentary about the musician Pharrell Williams. And this is just something I don't think is going to be doing well since it'll be targeting a very small group of people. I'm not interested in watching it, but I just don't see many who are going to watch it because they need to have an interest in documentaries, being willing to watch an animated movie, which a lot of people aren't willing to do. But they also need to be a fan of Lego and be interested in this person's life story. So I just think this is going to be a really hard sell, and I don't really know why that this is the first Lego movie we're getting in the what I think like 5 or 6 years since the Lego Movie 2, because it is just not a great idea, and I feel like this movie is almost certainly going to bomb because there's nothing really saying that it will do well, and with it targeting such a specific audience, I don't think it's going to go too well financially. And it just seems like, no one's really asked for this. It doesn't really have anything to do with Lego. And I would so much rather they've had kept the Lego license with Warner Brothers to make movies. And we could have either got like Lego Movie 3, the Lego Batman Movie 2. I mean, even the Lego Ninjago Movie 2 would be a better idea than this because it just doesn't sound like a good idea. I will not be checking this out. And it's just something that has a bomb written all over it. Because, as I said, it's going to a very specific group. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad movie. I'm just saying that it's targeted towards such a specific audience that there's almost zero chance that this will do well because there's a bunch of stuff that you need to, kind of qualify for before you see this. And there might be a few parents who take their kids to see it and they don't know that it's a documentary, similar to what happened with Deadpool, with them not knowing this was an R-rated superhero movie. And I think a similar scenario could come here where parents are mad that there was deceptive tactics used on them to take their kids to this movie, and they ultimately ended up wasting their money on a movie that their kids weren't interested in at all, because that's something I can really see happening. So I feel like 9 times out of 10, this is going to be a disaster, and it's going to be a bad look for both Universal and Lego. So I'm not really sure why they're doing this, but it just doesn't seem like a good idea. Now, talking about the next thing, this is something that it's both good and bad, and that is the interesting inclusion of a sound brick into one of the Harry Potter sets. And from what I saw, a lot of people talking about it, this brick is basically worth like $30 to $40, pushing up a set that would have been, I believe, like 60, maybe $70 to $100. So in terms of that, it's kind of insane for Lego sets thinking that they could toss an extra $30 onto a set if they want to include this. But it could also have some just really cool potential. especially for, adult collector sets, which it's being used for already. It would be interesting if they could actually sell these separately where they have different preloaded sounds onto them. So, for example, you could buy one to go with the Millennium Falcon set that I will be talking about in just a moment, and it would be able to make the different mechanic sounds of it, but you wouldn't have to buy the Lego set with it. And you just have an option to buy this brick separately. And I'm sure there's going to be a way for someone to upload sounds to this, whether Lego officially approves of it, or someone finds a way to program the brick to do that. I think either way that will be interesting. And we can see some pretty interesting stuff. You could get this in certain UCS sets where, let's just use the X-Wing for example. You could use it to have like X-Wing blasting sounds, maybe a few iconic quotes, and the sound of the proton torpedoes firing. That'd be pretty interesting to do, and I think the most interesting thing would be if they could find a way for them to interact together, kind of like Hallmark ornaments. If you've seen those when you're at like a Hallmark store around the holidays, they have ones that will make certain sound effects and interactions with other ornaments that are similar. Of course, it's all pre-programmed, but it would be interesting if they did that. But honestly, I think that this has definitely potential, but they need to find a way to make it cheaper because I think most people won't be willing to pay $30 to $40 extra just to get one brick with sound effects. And that's why I think them selling it separately, giving you the option to have a sound brick you could add into certain sets would be really cool, and into like getting a motorized function to like a Lego train set is totally not necessary, but you could get it, and maybe they can even have a thing where from Lego Shop at Home you just choose the sound brick and then you could either like download for like a fee or just select which one you want for it for a set. So I think that either way it could be interesting and work, and I want to know what you think because I think those are ways to ultimately like the customers save some money, but Lego could still make money off of it, especially if you want to put it in multiple sets. But let me know what you think about that specifically, and now let's move on to the Lego sets I want to look at. The first one is the Tantive 4, and this is a really nice model, but I will not be picking this up. I do have the bigger version of this. I'm pretty sure I did record a review of it. If not, I definitely will do it, but I'm like 90% sure I did. And this is just it's a really nice design, but that other one just is a little more special to me. I remember seeing it when I was at Star Wars Celebration, and there was an early reveal there. I eventually picked it up a little bit later, and that one is just a nice model. I don't need a smaller version of it, although it is nice. It's ultimately something I don't need, and there's just so much Lego sets that are coming out this year and from last year that are at the higher price range. Well, ideally, I would love to get this set. I just can't justify it with me wanting to get so many other sets. I could get this as a gift, and obviously I would accept it then, but that's really the only scenario I could see myself getting this set because there's just so many other sets that I want over this, and although this one is a good one, I just have to put this at the lowest priority and may get it, but it seems unlikely with how many other sets I want to get. And now going to the Millennium Falcon. It's pretty similar to the Tantive. I have a bigger version of this. Although I don't have the biggest version of this because I'm really not gonna be able to afford buying the what I think it's like $800 or $900 now Millennium Falcon. And although this is a really nice display set, it's just something where I just can't justify spending this much on a set when there's so many other sets I want to get for such a higher price. And if I get this as a gift, I would totally accept it, but I just want so many other sets more than this one. So although it is a nice set, it's just one that I will not be adding to my collection since there's so many other ones I want to get. And that does not actually apply towards the Invisible Hand because they've never made this set before into Lego form. Although I do have the Malevolent set, that's a completely different type of ship, and this looks incredible. All three sets, of course, do look incredible, as I said, but I would get this one. I'm not going to get it immediately, but I definitely do want this because it looks nice. I will probably get it sometime within the next year, maybe year and a half before it retires. But it's not an immediate priority, but this set still looks really nice, and I just really do want to get it. It's just not an immediate priority, but still, it is something I do want to get because it does look really cool. Now, looking at the set of these I want to get the most, it's the Boarding of the Tantive 4. This is an incredible set, a great 25th anniversary set, and something I really want to add to my collection. This one is probably going to be a day one buy for me unless we get revealed that either Lord of the Rings set or maybe the Batman the Animated Series set is releasing in early March. Then I'll probably push this back a little bit because I definitely want to get both of those. And I'm close to getting like $200 in VIP points, so I probably will be getting both of those first day. And I'm getting $200 off of whichever one releases second. But honestly, this is an awesome set, awesome minifigures, and the inclusion of fives just makes this like 1,000 times better. And this set's already basically perfect. I do hope that it does have the option for you to extend the hallway because it does have all those exposed holes at the end, so I think that you'll probably be able to buy at least two of these and combine them into one ultimate long hallway. That'd be a pretty cool inclusion, and I think that it's going to be something nice to have. Now let's move on to the final set. And this one is the R2D2 buildable character, and this one I really want. I'm not going to be buying it immediately, and that is since, as I said, there's a lot of sets I want to buy this year that are pretty expensive, with two of them being the rumored be Batman the Animated Series set and Barad-dûr. But I've always wanted a buildable R2D2, and it's just been kind of out of my price range, with the current cheapest one being at $200, but this one being like half the price. I think it's like two something for that R2D2. But this one's only like $100, and not only do you get a great build, but you also get the incredible Darth Malik minifigure alongside it. I really do want that figure, and as you have seen last week, I got the pieces to build a Jedi Knight Revan, and I'll put the link to that in the description, but I really do want this, and I really want to include Malik into my collection because he's an awesome minifigure that, based on how much Darth Revan goes for, will be cost a lot of money to get in the future. But yeah, honestly, I want to know what you think. Please leave it in the comments, and also next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.